We are live. Come on in, one and all. Live stream Friday. I see you guys are already here. Great to see you all. Let's see. I've got Thomas, Steven, Steve's Saints names. Great to see you, Scott. Stand for Truth. I saw some salty army guys out there. You guys are amazing. Ellen, Ting Ting. Hi from Germany. Good to see you. And I forgot. Is it Guten Tag? I'm forgetting my German now. I had to learn German when I was doing my my doctoral studies. Stephen Connors, good to see FJB. Yeah, I got my Everything Woke Turns to You Know What shirt on. Come on in, guys. Yeah, here we go. Get that chat roaring over there. Live stream Friday. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. If you're brand new here, we've got so much to talk about live. Super chats are up, so send me your questions. I'll answer them at the end of the video. And today, my oh my, we got a huge bombshell developing around the Biden crime family. Red State is calling it the smoking gun in terms of Joe and Hunter's corrupt business dealings. The bombshell is so devastating that calls for Biden's impeachment are surging by the minute. So we're going to get into that. Of course, I am going to touch a bit on the assassination of the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. As you know, my wife is from Japan, so I've been following Abe's career. He was the longest serving prime minister ever, hardcore conservative, patriot, good friend of President Trump's, all that and more. I'll be answering your questions at the end. But first, I got some news for you. I got a lead today with something that is absolutely going to get your blood boiling, okay? And you know I don't normally do this. I'm here to help you think better so you can feel better, right? But today, I'm sorry, I'm going to lead with something that's going to piss you off. It's going to make you upset, but we always end up winning in the end, don't we? So stay with me through this. You all know that we sold out of the premiere showing, sold out our tickets for the premiere showing of our brand new movie, The Return of the Patriots, The Rise of Pennsylvania. It was scheduled for July 16th at an IMAX theater in Lancaster, just outside of Lancaster. All 400 tickets sold out. Okay, I announced we had 100 more because we got this IMAX theater. We had 100 more yesterday, gone. Okay. Senator Doug Mastriano, who's the Republican gubernatorial candidate, he's going to be with us. Everything was going awesome. Woke leftists canceled us. I kid you not. We were informed by the feckless owner of this movie theater that after getting the usual emails and Facebook messages of woke leftists who have nothing better to do with their lives than to impugn and marginalize and lie about other people, they were successful in getting this theater owner to cancel our premiere. Just literally days before it. And by the way, just so you know, I've seen some of the cancel culture comments towards this theater. They're using their new favorite term appears to be Christian nationalists, right? Why are you allowing Christian nationalists to use your theater? Now, that is a term that obviously seeks to marginalize and exclude. And that's coming from the so-called tolerant, inclusive left. Just want you to know that. But here's the amazing news. You ready for this? We've got an amazing team. Todd, I know you're out there. God bless you for the work you're doing. I want to give you a big shout out next Saturday. In the process of we are in the process of securing another venue. And as it turns out, that venue looks like it's going to be twice as big, which means we're going to have twice the amount of tickets to offer. So if you already bought a ticket, you're fine. Don't worry about it. We're actually going to end up potentially doubling the amount of people that can come and doubling the amount of money that we can make in order to pay for this movie, which cost over 50 grand to pay for this movie, and all as the inadvertent gift from pathetic cancel culture leftists. So stay tuned. I'm going to give you the details on the new tickets that'll be available next week. And of course, that's how we're effectually fighting back and actually beating these cancel culture tactics. In the meantime, the most effective way that you can help us, especially if you can't make it to Pennsylvania for the premiere, is what you want to do is you want to click on the link below and help us fight back against this cancel culture by donating to our Give, Send, Go film fund. Now, you know, Give, Send, Go is an amazing crowdfunding source. They don't back down. They're Christians. They're awesome. If you donate to our Give, Send, Go, thanks, Raven. I'm going to get to that at the end. Remember, Super Chat's open. Whatever questions you have, comments, whatever, I'm going to read them out at the end. But if you donate to our Give, Send, Go film fund, remember, any donations over $50 is a thank you. You're going to get your name featured at the ending movie credits as a Turley Talks Productions founder. Any donations over $150, you're going to be invited to a live VIP video session so we can meet and greet before the live virtual premiere of the movie that's coming up after this one. Remember, given our culture war context, when you're giving to this project, you are not just giving to help pay for the production of the movie. You are now giving for the movie's defense. We're going to actually have to defend our freaking right to freely assemble and watch a freaking movie with the Republican candidate for governor, for heaven's sakes. This is what the woke left is trying to cancel, but we're not going to let them. So make sure to click on the link below and donate today to the defense fund. Whatever you could possibly donate will be great. No amount is too small. And I'll keep you posted next week on the latest developments of how we together are going to stick it to cancel culture. All right, let's dive right in here, gang. Before we begin with Biden's serious calls for impeachment, I do want to say very quickly a word on the assassination of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Many of you know my wife is Japanese. We're actually married in Japan and Tokyo, and I've followed Abe's career off and on now for years, 15 years or so. If you don't know, he was an amazing leader. He was a staunch conservative. Some outlets call him ultra-conservative. He was very much a nationalist populist. He and President Trump were good friends. They got along really, really well. They both despised the bullies in Brussels, you know, the Merkels and the Macrons. Shinzo Abe was a Japan first, make Japan great again patriot who loved his nation. He was the longest serving Japanese prime minister ever since their reconstruction after World War II. I mean, this guy was beloved by so many in Japan, and his killing today was so senseless. The guy who killed him apparently built his own. He was caught. He built his own gun. He worked for the Japanese military in some administrative capacity. So he knew how to build his own gun. And right now reports are that he had ironically, some religious grievance with Abe. Abe was very much tied to sort of the Shinto nationalism of Japan. He made a very controversial visit to what's called the Yasukuni Shrine. The Yasukuni Shrine is a shrine that honors Japan's war dead, and globalists hate it because it honors convicted war criminals. And look, I don't know if it has anything to do with that, but regardless, it was a senseless horror, and it does go to show as well that even nations with the strictest gun control, like Japan, can't control all guns. Moreover, I don't know how many of you saw on a lot of the conservative Twitter feeds how they highlighted the discrepancy between the way the lamestream leftist legacy media is covering Abe's death and the way they covered ISIS leader al-Baghdadi's death. It's pretty sick stuff. They're calling Abe a divisive arch-conservative, right? You'll actually see the term divisive or divisive, over and over again because globalists hated him. But when al-Baghdadi was killed, the Washington Post, do you remember this? They ran the headline calling him an austere religious scholar. I mean, seriously, you can't make this stuff up. These people are sick. So that said, May God have mercy on Shinzo Abe's soul, and may God bless his family and the people of Japan during this time. The Japanese would say, Okoyami Moshi Agemasu. All right, with that, let's go over to the growing calls for Biden's impeachment, shall we? A lot of you may have caught Tucker Carlson's segment on this a couple of nights back. And this story looks like it's got legs, and it's growing as we speak. So we have breaking news that Bike Ride and Biden, number one, sold nearly 1 million barrels of oil to a Chinese gas company. And number two, that Chinese gas company has indirect or direct business ties with Hunter Biden. So this is from the Washington Free Beacon, okay? Back in April of this year, the Biden administration announced that they were selling roughly 1 million barrels from the U.S. oil reserves, if you can imagine that, which are currently, I believe, at their lowest levels ever. They dipped into U.S. oil reserves and sold upwards of 1 million barrels of the oil from those reserves to a Chinese state oil company called IMPEACH. Now, it's also known as Sinopec. I guess Sinopec is the larger company. It's now parent company, as it were. It's now being revealed that back in 2015, Hunter Biden's firm, BHR, bought a nearly $2 billion stake in Sinopec. Now, this is coming from the Washington Examiner. Just came out, okay? According to Hunter Biden's attorney, back in November, Hunter divested his stakes in these Chinese holdings. That according to his attorney. But as of March, Chinese records still listed BHS, Hunter Biden's firm, as a 10% stake owner of Sinopec. Now, of course, as the Washington Examiner makes clear, the Chinese records may have yet to be updated. Perhaps Hunter did divest himself of any stake in Sinopec. But the Biden administration has yet to clarify whether or not that's the case. In other words, they appear to once again be stonewalling over this issue of bumbling Biden sending money and getting involved in Hunter Biden's business dealings. Now, there's an article out, very, very fascinating. And for what it says or what it doesn't say. And it's just been published by Market Realist. Just came out. And it's called Hunter Biden's Connection to Sinopec Oil Explained. And what it is it's an article that tries to more or less kind of wash this away. It does its very best to try to quell any concerns over this deal. And it explains it to us as this is just standard practice, It wasn't just China. India got some of the oil reserves as well. But it does acknowledge, nevertheless, Hunter and Biden have had some, shall we say, curious activities going on with Chinese oil companies over the years, like with the Chinese energy company CEFC some years back that Hunter hooked up with during one of then VP Biden's trips to China. Hunter went with him and met with executives from CEFC, and he ended up getting millions and millions of dollars from that. But here's the key, according to this article. Nevertheless, there's no evidence of any wrongdoing here. No, a president can sell oil, reserve oil to a foreign country. There's nothing against the law that says he can't do that. And yes, a president's son can have business dealings with Chinese oil companies. There's nothing illegal about that. And then it goes on to acknowledge that Hunter's attorney claimed that he divested himself of any ties with Sinopec. Nevertheless, they acknowledged the Washington Examiner's report that those ties, as far as the Chinese government is concerned, are still active. In other words, Hunter's firm still has a 10% stake in the company that Biden just sold 1,000,000 barrels of oil to. But I want you to hear how this article ends. Again, it's going to infuriate you. This is how it ends. Quote, President Biden is also looking to waive some tariffs on China. Easing tariffs and Hunter's connection with Sinopec are only fueling conspiracy theories about the Biden family's ties to China. And that's how the article ends. They throw out the conspiracy theme, the conspiracy theory meme, and they think that settles it. That charge alone settles it. If you even so much as remotely suspect that anything remotely illicit is going on here, you've got to take your place among the conspiracy kooks. Again, note, this is coming from the same lamestream media that peddled the Russian collusion hoax for 3 years at a waste of tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer money with the bumbling Bob Mueller investigation. And it's the same lamestream media that actually blacked out the Hunter Biden laptop revelations. So obviously, the lamestream media isn't going to help shed any light on this. And here are the obvious questions that Biden and the media are going to have to answer. First and foremost, why does Hunter Biden have so many equity stakes in so many foreign energy companies? You all, of course, remember Burisma, the corrupt Ukrainian gas company that was paying Hunter Biden $80,000 a month to sit on their board. What does Hunter Biden know about energy production? Of course, nothing. Zippo. But there he is, somehow finding his way on a Ukrainian gas company's board to the tune of $1 million a year. Now we're seeing Hunter owning a stake in a Chinese energy company to the tune of an estimated $20 million stake. And this, by the way, wasn't the first one he worked with, right? He also worked with CEFC some years ago and got millions of dollars of that from that as well. And again, keep in mind that came directly from a visit he took with his then VP father to China. So that's the first thing. Why does he have so much stake in so many foreign fuel oil companies? Then the second question is, why do we keep seeing Joe Biden bound up in some way, shape, and form with these companies? Why does Hunter have so many stakes in so many of these foreign oil companies? And then two, why does Bike Ride and Biden keep surfacing as involved with these companies? Specifically, why are we seeing Joe Biden sending money to both Sinopec and at least indirectly to Burisma, right? We all saw the Biden video, right, at the CFR. Thanks, Roman. Thank you, man. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Remember, live super chat is up. I forget what I am. I'm getting so infuriated by all this nonsense. Super chat is up. Make sure you ask your questions. Thanks, Donnie. Thank you. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Remember, super chat. And remember, click on that link below. If you're just joining us, we got canceled our premiere, the IMAX theater that was going to premiere our movie this next Saturday, the Return of the Patriots, the Rise of Pennsylvania. They canceled on us at the last minute. They canceled on us because of pressure from leftist wokists who demanded cancel culture. So if you click on the link below, you can help us defend that film by giving to our Give, Send, Go campaign. And to make it even better, we've got a couple of venues lined up, possible venues lined up that are twice as big. So we're going to be able to even shower you guys with some more tickets. All right. So if you already have tickets, you're fine. But if you haven't gotten tickets, because these sold out really, really quick, if you haven't already gotten tickets, it looks like we're going to actually double the capacity. So, but we need your help to fight back against this crazy woke nonsense. We don't just need your help, your financial help for the production of these films, to cover the cost of the production of the films. We're going to need your financial help to cover the defense of these films, the defense of being able to freely assemble and watch a movie. That's what the leftists want to No, the leftists want to cancel us when all of a sudden. They don't want to cancel a movie. They want to cancel us. That's why they're so vile. So make sure to click on that link below and help us out there. Again, it's so appreciated. Super Chat gang, thank you guys. Same thing. It's all going to the same place. Thank you guys so much. All right. We all know that Biden admitted on video, I think it was back in 2014 when he was talking to the Council of Foreign Relations, CFR, that he threatened the then Ukrainian President Poroshenko. He threatened he would withhold $1 billion in foreign aid until Poroshenko's government fired a special prosecutor who was investigating Burisma, the corrupt company where Hunter was serving as one of the board of directors to the tune of $1 million a year. Now, not only did this have the clear appearance of a quid pro quo, right? You'll get your money when I get what I want, when the special prosecutors investigating my son fired. But we now have emails that reveal that Biden met with or was meeting with an executive from Burisma right around that same time, which, of course, in turn contradicts his repeated denials that he ever discussed Hunter's overseas business dealings. But obviously, this goes way beyond Biden discussing business dealings with Hunter. This Ukrainian situation involved sending $1 billion of taxpayer money to the single most corrupt nation in all of Europe, which obviously means that a portion of that money made its way to Burisma, which in turn made its way to Hunter. So we now know why Hunter was getting paid $1 million a year to sit on their board. But now we've got this bombshell report that Biden sold 1 million barrels of oil from our strategic petroleum reserve. And keep in mind, he's doing this at a time when we're going bankrupt at the pump. He sold 1 million barrels of oil from our depleting reserves, and the barrels were sold to a company that Hunter had a 10% stake in, or has. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So first, why is Hunter having a stake in all these foreign oil companies? Two, why is Biden constantly getting involved in those companies? And then three, why does Biden continue to stonewall and refuse to answer questions about his voicemail he left for Hunter about a New York Times article that explicitly reported on Hunter's business dealings, when Biden told Hunter explicitly, quote, "I think you're clear"? How is that not an explicit contradiction of Sleepy Joe's consistent denials they ever spoke with Hunter about his business dealings? And why are Fox and the New York Post the only major outlets, media outlets, asking that question? Go ahead, do this for yourself. Go ahead and Google Biden voicemail Hunter. Go ahead, do it yourself. Don't take my word for it. You will see nothing, absolutely nothing from the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, MSDNC. In fact, if you did, it would just be a masterclass in pandering gaslighting. So there you go. In many ways, this is all just the tip of the iceberg of the apparent corruption that plagues the Biden family. And so with all that breaking, the calls for Biden's impeachment are surging. Tucker Carlson opened up those calls, right? Calling for Biden's impeachment. And this was even, if I recall, this was even before the revelations of Hunter's stake in Sinopec. As I understand, I have to, it's getting jumbled in my head right now. But just the fact that Biden was selling U.S. oil reserves to China was enough for Tucker to say, get this guy impeached. This is insane. But now, with these latest revelations, wow, of course, we got Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's just tweeted out, Joe Biden sold 1 million barrels of oil of our strategic petroleum reserves to CCP-owned Sinopec, which Hunter Biden is part owner of through his private equity firm BHR Partners. Hunter is still business partners with the CCP, and they're buying our oil. Can we impeach Joe Biden now? Joe Gooding, the founding fathers included the bribery clause in the Constitution as a tool for impeachment because they knew foreign influence over a president was a national security risk. Case in point, the Biden crime family financial ties to China. Diamond and Silk, they tweeted out, while Biden was blaming gas stations for high prices, it appears he was actually selling off 5 million barrels of the United States emergency oil reserves to other countries, including China. It's past time to impeach this. And then they have a blank and say, you fill in the blank. And Red State, now they have their headline, is this the smoking gun? Biden's sale of oil from strategic reserve went to Chinese company connected to Hunter Biden. So this is obvious. We're seeing some headwinds with this, and we'll most certainly be keeping our eyes on how things develop here with these bombshell revelations. Obviously, it's too soon to say whether or not there's going to be a massive call, kind of like a Boris 2.0 of people calling for Biden's resignation. But I think it is high time that we saw just such a thing. All right, guys, over to you. Let's see what you got. I saw some of the super chats coming in. Keep in mind, too, we do have our store open. It is Christmas in July. And you can, for the whole month of July in celebration of 4th of July, you can get, for every 2 shirts you buy, you get 1 free. So that's a fun little thing for you guys as well. Like I said, I got my Everything Woke turns to, you know what, turns to Scheisse. And for our German friends there, or Skivala for you Greek fans. But anyway, so let's go over to some of your questions here. I'm not for or against the whole Roe v. Wade. However, what pisses me off, I'm sorry, this is Raven writing desk, if I did say. However, what pisses me off is for abortions, but against capital punishment. If they are for one way or the other, that's fine. If you're for abortion, then you're for capital punishment. Okay, so I'm trying to get this sense. What pisses you off is for abortions, but against. Oh, okay. If you're for abortions but against capital punishment. Yes, Raven, Writing's desk. Yes, you're right. Yes. Generally speaking, it's the other way around. So people are always arguing, how is it that you can say that you're pro-life when it comes to children in the womb, but you're pro-death penalty, right? And the answer to that from the other way around is because our commitment ultimately is not to life. We don't make idols out of life. Our commitment is to a higher moral transcendent standard, a higher moral law that's eternal, that we don't define, but that defines us. It's not a moral law that we define. It's a moral law is a word that we discover, or better, it's revealed to us. And virtually all the major world religions make a very clear distinction between killing an innocent human life, for which it's never right, and killing a guilty human life, for which it can be right. So there is a very, very clear line. One is A and the other is B, or better, one is A and non-A. One is innocent, the other one is non-innocent. So that's important. But now you remove that, and then you go to the woke leftist view, the ones that shut down movies, and or try to, I should say. And what you're upset about, I think, is absolutely right. They're all totally fine for terminating the life of an innocent human life, but for some reason they want to maintain the life and protect and defend the life of a guilty human life, a life that has engaged in a horrific act of some time, generally murder. And I think you're absolutely right. And it just goes to show this is what you get when you remove a transcendent moral law and you allow woke human beings to define morality and to actually invent morality. And it will always be a morality, always, that advantages them. All right, this is woke culture. Woke culture is the only things that you could cancel are things that are non-woke. Anything that's woke, no matter how bizarre, no matter how crazy it is with children involved and so on, anything that's woke is fine and good. So they redefine morality in such a way that always advantages their side and excludes the other. So there you go. Why they advantage the guilty and the non-guilty? Well, because the non-guilty is an inconvenience to their body. That's generally the way they would explain it. I loves chicken. How about the 3 little girls clearly under 10 that were on his laptop? Why are we not talking about that? Well, I don't know about the girls under 10. I just in full disclosure, I have not read that. But yes, I know there were underage girls on that. We're going to have to see. Absolutely. This is all going to have to come on out. Kyung Anderson, thank you so much for your support. Mitchell Ryan, honestly, I think nothing will happen until Republicans take office. I agree, Mitchell. I think at this point, Republicans are going to impeach Biden. I think at the very least, just the revenge for the two sham impeachment, the kangaroo courts there, as well as the kangaroo court J6 nonsense. It's going to be payback time. Absolutely. Donnie Chappell, thank you so much for your help. What's we at 1256 7367. Salty Army Berserkers rules supreme. Amen, brother. Love Salty Army. Kay Hedgecock, thank you for what you do. Thank you so much, Kay. Rashad Abdul Salam, isn't talk of national abortion ban from parts of the right bad? Doesn't that violate states' rights, federalism, and play into the leftist fearmonger? Okay, so that's a good question. That's a very good question, Rashad. So a lot of people are saying, okay, overturning Roe v. Wade is just the beginning. Now we're going to go for a full-blown national ban. At this point in the journey, as it were, in the process, right, no, there's no legal basis for that, constitutionally speaking. What pro-lifers ultimately wanted the Supreme Court to do is to swing to the other side from Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade said that a first trimester child has no inherent moral value. As a matter of fact, they basically said that the child in the womb in all three, in the trimesters, had no inherent value, apart from the value that the mother chose to, or the birthing parent, as they're calling it now, chose to give to it. So if you want to keep your baby, great. If you want to get rid of your baby, great. The child in the womb has no intrinsic value apart from the value that the mother chooses to impose upon it. Again, it's a direct contradiction of transcendent moral law that ascribes, particularly in the Christian tradition, that it ascribes intrinsic moral value to every single solitary human being, such that no other human being could ever, ever, ever determine or define your value. So it's a beautiful, freeing, protective measure by which we can flourish in the sanctity of human life. And every human person, regardless of race and gender and ethnicity and the like, every human person is of the same innate dignity and worth from the very moment of conception. So obviously pro-lifers wanted to swing the other way, and they wanted a ruling that went in that direction. They wanted a ruling ultimately that would say that Roe v. Wade didn't just violate the 14th Amendment, in that the 14th Amendment the Liberty Clause stipulates no such right for abortion, number one. But number two, it violates the Life Clause, that you cannot deprive a person of life, liberty, or property without due process. Well, you were depriving the fetus of a life. And so we wanted them to stay with the 14th Amendment, but anchor the new constitutional norm in life and the right to life. If you don't have the right to life, everything else doesn't matter. They did not do that. They did not do that. All they did is they argued that abortion is nowhere in the text of the Constitution, and abortion, when we look at the tradition, when we look at the historical outworking of what gave us the 14th Amendment, which was passed in, 1868, if I recall. If you look at the historical outworking of what gave us the 14th Amendment, abortion at the time was a crime virtually everywhere in the United States. So abortion, for the authors of the Constitution, abortion would never have been considered to be a right protected under the Liberty Clause of the 14th Amendment. And so given that it's not in the text or tradition, by definition of the federal structure, it has to go back to the states and the consent of the governed. So it's a middle ground. So you have the extreme left. I don't know if I don't mean extreme, but just in terms of the spectrum, you've got the left, the right, I should say, the left, the right, and then you've got this middle ground that says, look, The federal government is not going to make this decision. So that's where we are right now. And those on the right are saying, well, that's where we are right now. But we move from left to center, and we're going to go to a full pro-life world. I can't control, does it, you're saying, does that play in the leftist fear mongering? I can't control that, I mean, we're going to have to see how the right plays this out over time. But yes, it does. It does give into leftist fear mongering. The question, is there enough leftists to defend against it? The bill, ABC TV, 2,000 mules proved Trump won the 2020 election by a landslide. Is there a way it can be fixed? No, I don't see that. I mean, 2024, that's how you're going to fix it. But yeah, well, what we're seeing, just Wisconsin's Supreme Court just had the ruling today that drop boxes are illegal. They're unconstitutional according to Wisconsin law. So it's going to be, again, it's going to be this federalist structure. It's going to be state by state. Every state is going to have to clean up its election proceedings, and we're going to have to make sure that we have very, very clear protocols for chain of custody issues, from the person who voted all the way to the actual counting of the vote. That entire process has to be as transparent and objective as possible. Let's see, Mitchell, how do you think we cancel drag shows that involve children? Red states are starting to crack down on that, and this is definitely where the whole notion of red states taking back their blue patches and making them very, very red, that's where that's going to come in. They're going to have to start passing state laws that make these things at local, particularly municipal levels, illegal when all is said and done. Adam Bowman, R.I.P. Shinzo Abe. Amen. I think a martyr has been created. Amen. Abe was an amazing man. He was an incredible man. Again, just regardless of what you thought about his politics, he wasn't just conservative. He was religiously conservative, very Shinto nationalist. And, regardless of how you feel about the guy, I mean, the guy was the longest serving Japanese prime minister in their history. I mean, he walked the talk, as it were. And he and Trump are very, very close. You're seeing a lot of pictures. They played golf together, and golf is huge in Japan. So anyway, very good. The Bill ABC again. Same question. That was my last super chat. J-Man, just wanted to say thank you for you and your positivity. Keep it up no matter the pushback. Oh, J-Man, I can do it because of you guys. I mean, you guys keep me upbeat. You guys keep me moving and going. You're amazing, and I can't thank you enough. All right, guys, remember, click on that link below and donate to our Give, Send, Go campaign to defend the premiere of our movie, the return of the Patriots, the rise of Pennsylvania. We did get canceled at the IMAX theater by leftists. Leftists pressured the theater to cancel our premiere. They did. The good news is we're finding other venues that actually seat twice as many people. So it's gonna be a huge party next weekend. It was at July 16th, I believe. So make sure you, if you haven't bought tickets, next week I'll let you know the venue and the ticket situation. We've already sold out of the 400, so if you want to grab some more, I'll let you know next week. In the meantime, if you've got some change to spare, we'd love for you to help donate to our defense fund, not just to cover the production of the film, which is over $50,000, but also now to defend the actual watching of defend the right to assemble and watch a movie in the midst of cancel culture. Gang, I love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Always, hug your loved ones, hug your children, hug the things that matter the most. J-Man gave me something very encouraging here. I love your positivity. One of the things that keeps me always positive is you always make sure to have, Jordan Peterson talks about the hierarchy of values. Always make sure you know what your highest value is. And that's your God and your children, right? As you were your family and your God. God, faith, family, freedom, our faith, our family, that's where it focuses. So give your kids a big hug. Tell your spouse you love them. Have a wonderful weekend, just knowing that God has blessed you in ways that are absolutely unimaginable. Have a great, great, great weekend, and I'll see you next week. God bless, guys.